Hi viewers, we're going to talk about the regular past tense, not the irregular past tense, which has about 160 verbs that are irregular and do not follow the regular verb rule. Every past tense verb that is regular will have ed at the end. But that doesn't mean that the pronunciation is all the same. So I'm going to start out by showing you the three sounds that we make when we make the past tense. This one is id, id, d, d, and t, t. Now, d and t are really the same sound, except that the D is voiced using the voice and the T is voiceless. When we use id, we are looking at the final sound of the verb. And if that final sound is a T or a D sound, then we're going to use id. Heated, started, rented, handed, folded, added. See, these end with a T and these end with a D. And now we have added a syllable because these are all one syllable words when we have it in the past tense and add id, we add a syllable because it has a vowel. That's not the case with T and D. It remains a one syllable word. The D will follow these sounds because all these sounds are voiced. And D comes after a voiced final sound in the verb. Absorbed, begged, waved, realized, changed, massaged, named, reigned, winged, feared, oiled, and all verbs that end with vowels will also have the final D sound. The T is voiceless, and it will follow these sounds which are voiceless. Helped, picked, laughed, passed, cashed, matched. You see that there are many more voiced sounds, so the D sound will be used more often than the T sound. I'd like to look at spelling next. Even though it doesn't affect pronunciation, it can be confusing. Let's begin by looking at this side, because here I'm talking about verbs that end with a Y. When a verb ends with a Y and it has a consonant before it, we drop the Y and put in an I. D-R-Y, consonant Y. We remove the Y and put in an I. Remember, this is just spelling. These words follow the same rules as we talked about. Dry, dried, study, studied, marry, married, identify, identified. They have a D sound because they end with a voiced sound. If we have a vowel and a Y, there is no change. But we still have the D sound because the vowel ends voiced. Play, played, enjoy, enjoyed, okay, okayed, employ, employed. Now, you may have noticed that some verbs end with an E. We're not going to add ed to a verb that ends with an E. We're going to use that E in the ed ending. So here we have a one-syllable word, hope, and we're adding a D to make it hoped. Free, freed, guide, guided, ignite, ignited. So here this E has no sound in the verb. But here, because we have a D and we have a T, we're going to add id. And that will make this a two-syllable word. And it will also give a sound, this sound, to this E, where this E has no sound in the verb. Then we come to one-syllable words that have one vowel and one consonant. Chat. It has one vowel and one consonant at the end. And it's one-syllable word. In this case, we double the last letter. So this T is doubled here. But the sounds of final ed or pronunciation of the past tense remains the same, even if we put in an extra T or an extra consonant. Chat, chatted, pad, padded, stop, stopped, bus, bust, plan, planned, hug, hugged. Here we have the id because we have a T and we have a D. Here we have a T sound because we have a voiceless P, a voiceless S, and here we have the D sound because we have a voiced N and a voiced G. I want to clarify one thing. Ignited is a three-syllable word. Sorry about that. Thanks for learning English. See you again.